Hey guys, it's Winters MMA back here with another video, and today I'll be talking about what's next for Dan Hooker. For me, he's a really entertaining fighter. Whenever you see him fight, you just know it's gonna be very entertaining. He's never really been in a boring fight, and he's not some lay and pray wrestler who just lies on you and lands little rabbit punches and waits for a 3-round decision. Quite the opposite, actually, because of Dan Hooker's lack of grappling. But he's been on a bit of a decline lately, especially with all the controversy about him, which I won't get into. But about his in-cage losses and the manner of which he lost to. Dan Hooker, in his last two fights, he has suffered defeats to Arman Tsarukyan. No shame there. Arman should be the one fighting for a title next. And Benoit Saint-Denis. Again, both are great fighters, so I wouldn't fault Dan for losing to them, when in reality, a lot of people, be they fighters or just normal people, they would lose to them. So I'm not trying to shame Dan for that in any way. But it's the way that he lost. He was brutally dominated and submitted by Arman, and he was doing pretty well against BSD until he got caught in the mounted triangle position and just elbowed in the face. And I think Dan Hooker, he needs to take a break, and when he comes back, they shouldn't feed him a killer, because he's stated his goal isn't to become the champion. He doesn't want to be one of the GOATs. He's just here to fight, basically, because he loves it. So I think they should give him a Beneil Dariush, Bobby Green, people that aren't exactly cans, but that are beatable opponents for him and that can have a good fight with him. I think there's no use trying to feed him to contenders and rising prospects if they want to have him for a longer time. Because the more damage he takes out of all the damage he's already taken, it just brings him closer into retirement, honestly. Now let's talk about Prime Dan Hooker. Prime Dan Hooker, he was pretty good. He had good Muay Thai. He had a crazy rear knee. He also used guillotines and ninja chokes effectively. I think he has 1 or 2 submissions in the UFC with that. But yeah, he has some pretty good wins. He has one over Mateusz Gamrot, over Jalen Turner. I think he even knocked out Gilbert Burns in 2018. But what I really think broke Dan, kind of both physically and mentally, was his war with Dustin Poirier. Now, Dustin Poirier is no bum. He's one of the best lightweights never to win the belt. But by the end of that fight, there was a clear winner, and it wasn't Dan Hooker. And after the beating both men took, but especially Dan Hooker, it really takes a toll on your confidence, your belief. Whenever you go out and fight, you think, I don't want to lose as brutally as I did against Dustin Poirier again. What if that happens again? And then you just spiral. But yeah, he's been up and down since then. And what's actually surprising he was on a 3-fight win streak before his 2 most recent brutal losses. He TKO'd Claudio Puelles with a body kick after Puelles spent the entire fight trying to Imanari roll him and getting gassed out. And he beat Jalen Turner and Mateusz Gamrot. So, yeah, let's talk about his chin actually. Dan Hooker has a crazy chin. He can take so much damage, so much punishment. Especially during that fight with Jalen Turner, he eats a flush head kick. He takes a flush foot to the face, shin to the face, and he just gets up and starts working for the clinch, tries to get a takedown and a throw, just like nothing happened. Like it was, like he said, it was just a scratch. He broke his arm and his orbital bone in that fight. So Dan Hooker, he's never been KO'd clean. He's never been put to sleep. But his chin is truly a testament to how tough he is, and he won't go down without a fight. Definitely not. He's definitely a fun fighter. And I think the UFC should keep him around for as long as they can, but I don't think they should put him in fights, as I mentioned before. I don't think they should put him in fights with absolute killers who he'd stand no chance with. He'd get mauled, etc., etc. I think he'd be good for fights with other veterans, some fun fights. So, yeah, I know this wasn't the longest video today, but I was pretty busy over the weekend, so I just thought I'd bring you this one. I hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like and subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see next in the comments.